Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I don't have a bingo. I have a lot of high-scoring tiles, and I'd like to play a 5-letter word with one of the high-scoring tiles on a double letter square, but can I do that? If I can't, then the play that I immediately see is chow. Is there a 5-letter word? Well, not that I can see. Chow's pretty good, scores well, and the rack leave is good. That looks pretty good. Now, is there a 7-letter bingo? Through a T I would have feathers. Gosh, this looks like there's a 7-letter word here, but is there? Now I'm going to consider the floaters in chow to see if I've got an 8 through any of those. Can't see one through the C, or the H, or the O, or the W. Now this rack is going to be fairly straightforward to resolve. I really just need to play off the F, or the F and the H, and my rack leave is going to be pretty bingo-y. I don't want to miss a bingo. I don't think Sharif is good. I'm hoping that this rack is close to a bingo, and that's what's making me think that it looks bingo-y. Okay, I have another floater to consider. Another 2 floaters, the N and the D. So, what about the D? The F is not a particularly bingo-y tile. So it may well be that there isn't a bingo here. And I can't see anything through the N either. So my attention turns to the F and the H. I could play FEH at I4 across, making CH. 16 points, but that does open up the triple word square at H1. So I'd like to do better than that. Nothing goes in front of KO. Now I can put my H on top of OW, but then I'm looking at playing off, well, I'm looking at keeping the F, and I don't want to do that. So, do I do FEH? This doesn't feel great. On the other hand, the rack leave is really good, and it goes well with the D of Cond, so providing openings to the left of the board has some merit. Well, I don't have a great feeling about this. In fact, I'm not going to do it. I can play headers down here. Now this wrecks the rack leave, but it's a double-double, so it's going to score a lot of points. Header is 44 points. Yeah, not surprisingly, my rack is not great. There is a hot spot at J10, the triple letter square. My F and my B can go there, so I could play Fab for a good score. I'm looking to see if I've got a 5-letter word beginning with the second E of headerers onto the triple word square at H15. particularly one which places the B or the F on the double letter square, but I can't see such a play. Wow, a 70-point play for my opponent. Okay, and I have a non-bingo-y rack. So, what to do? I'd like to play off the F and resolve the vowel consonant imbalance. So a play of oaf down here does that. B's not a great tile. It's not a terrible tile either. Now that's 22 points. Let's see what it scores down here. 25 points. Okay, that's more. This looks promising. Still a slight vowel preponderance, but I have got floaters. I've got the H of Hedera's and the C of Chow. I've got the sub prefix and I've got the ABLE ending. No bingo is jumping out at me. I've got a 1-point lead, but my opponent's on turn, so that's going to disappear. Ois, my play of oaf creating ois is quite nice in that it restricts my opponent's ability to take advantage of the Z by hooking ZA and coming down onto the double word square at L12. It's still available for a play coming down column 12 which ends on a hook for Tsar. I've got the OUS ending. Can't see a 7, can't see an 8. In which case I'm looking to play off the B and the U. And it'd be nice to play off the O as well. Yep, 26 points for my opponents. That's not too bad. I keep returning to the C of Chow, but I can't see a bingo. I don't think houseable is good coming down from the H of Chow. So what's the priority? Certainly the U and the B. So I could play cub. Only 13 points, and it's keeping the vowel preponderance. That O is a real pain. Must be able to do better than that. But how? I'm looking in row F to see if I can place my B in front of OW. Gosh, maybe Hedera's wasn't such a smart play. I certainly wouldn't have had this problem if I'd retained AERS. Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, another weak rack and no scoring tiles and duplicates. And I'm 12 points behind. But this should be a fairly straightforward rack to resolve because a play of LOO is going to leave AELS, and that's a good rack leave. And Lou does play in columns 10 and 12. In fact, I've got Loon in column 10. 15 points, not very many points, but I don't have any tiles which score more than 1. I don't wish to use my S to pluralise azide or zap because I'm not going to get a good enough score to justify that, to justify burning it. Cub takes an E at the end, but I'd quite like to keep my E. It's a bingo-y tile. Great. Just needs only 5 points, which is really good. I was worried that my opponent was going to start zooming away. I'm just checking to see that I don't have an 8-letter bingo through that R. And indeed the H of heteras as well. Okay, so what I'm considering is Loon down here. Doesn't provide many opportunities for my opponent, and it certainly sorts the rack out. Great, I draw the first blank. I surely do have a bingo here. My Gales is good. That plays in column 13. And it also plays in column 3, making grub, so I will be bingoing. And actually my Gales is a pretty good bingo in either spot. There's not going to be a significantly better one or even a higher scoring one, I don't think. Well, I guess in column 13, if I could place my M or my Y in penultimate position, it would score more. But that doesn't apply in column 3, where the Y goes on the double letter square at I3. So if the column 3 opening is taken, do I have a better bingo in column 13? So I'm looking for my M or my Y. Oh, melees. That works. M-E-L-L-A-Y-S. Anagram of measly. Yeah. And I guess also, well, there could be a bingo much lower in column 13, hooking L, R, and zap. It would be an S on the end of zap. But L takes an L or an M or an S. Well, if the S is used for zaps, what about a word with M gap S? So, okay, well that's great. That's not good. Fantastic. Let's get my Gales down here. It's quite a surprising play by my opponent. My Gales, 85 points. And I'm rewarded with 4 I's and a U, which is atrocious. My immediate thought is to change. I have no high-scoring tiles. But I should always look around to see what the best I can do with this rack. Well, it's not very much. There's no way I want to retain 3 I's. I'm struggling, so therefore I have to play off at least 2. And I could play nice I at N1, but that's only 8 points, and it's opening up the triple word square at O1, so I don't want to do that. So I will be changing. Unless my opponent provides an amazing opportunity, and I think that's extremely unlikely. I do know 4 of my opponent's tiles, so I need to keep those in mind. The S, the T and the R certainly are good ones. Now, if I change, what do I keep? Certainly the E, and certainly the N to, well, because the N is a bingo-y tile, and also to keep a good vowel-consonant balance. The I goes quite well with the E and the N. 3 eyes in the bag. So I'm changing. Do I keep an eye? If I do, I've got EINR in column 1. I am inclined to keep it. It is vowel heavy, but there are only 3 eyes rather, in 51 tiles unseen. Yeah, and if I put the eye in the bag and drew an eye, I would be glad, so I should keep it. Well, possibly not. So, what do I have? Oh, blocked. I was just seeing that I had triennia through the R. Do I have anything through the S of my Gales? And do I have a 7-letter bingo? EL takes a T on the end. Well, can't see a 7. The S is the only floater in my Gales that's available for a bingo. Okay, well, there may be a bingo there, but I'm struggling to see it. So, how to resolve this rack? Certainly I need to play off an I and an N. And probably one more vowel. Well, I could play Annie down here. Or, better still, Rain. Doesn't open up row O. 16 points, not bad. And pretty good rack leave. So, again, do I have a bingo? Can't see a 7. I do have the ING ending, but there are no available floaters. Through an R I would have retuning. There's the L of loon, but a bingo through that would have to end on the L. I don't have that. I've got the un prefix. I've got a 43-point lead, which is pretty slender. And I don't have scoring tiles. So how to resolve this rack? Certainly want to play off a U and an N. I'm wondering how valuable the ING ending is, since there's nowhere on this board to play a 7-letter word ending ING. Strep. Yep. 36 points. Good score for my opponent. But how am I going to resolve this rack? He is now only 7 points behind. Well, I could play gun down here. I don't think the ING suffix is worth hanging on to. I'd much rather go after a word ending T or TS, which plays in column 13. Trouble with playing gun here, it doesn't score very much, and it does open up column 1 because Jen does take an A in front. So is there a better spot? And what about strep? How do I feel about leaving that open? I could play gurn in column 12. I'm going to leave that. I thought my rack lever VINT was reasonably bingo-y, so providing a distraction in the bottom left would have kept open the bingo lane in column 13. But it hasn't really paid off because I do not have a bingo on my rack. And I don't have an A to go in front of Jen, so this isn't looking great, and I'm 2 points behind. Now, certainly need to play off one or both E's, and I could do with getting rid of the G as well. But I'm going to keep column 13 open because I want to bingo. So I've got G down here. The problem with this is that it's not going to score very well, and it doesn't obstruct the A in the front of Jen because A goes in front of Jean. Only 13 points. Now, I'm fairly short on time. I've only got 8 minutes left. There are 25 tiles in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. I have an 11-point lead, and I have a non-bingo-y rack. And I don't have an A. And the A I'm looking for, this 4 unseen, will go in front of Jean, and there could be a big play in column 1. Poe, looking at the bottom right of the screen, takes a U in front of it. There's 1 unseen. Now I could play F or OV in row M to make Fed. 26 points. Well, I'm fortunate. My opponent only scored 30 with 1-point tiles. If he'd placed a higher scoring tile at L1, he could have got a lot more. So this is what I'm thinking of. There's only one O in the bag, so I'm not too bothered about keeping the O rather than the E. 26 points, that keeps me in the game. Ooh. Vowel pickup. Now this is a really close game. There's only 7 points in it. And there are very few scoring opportunities, and there's a blank unseen. And there's really only one bingo lane, column 13. So whoever bingoes in that lane will probably win. But how am I going to resolve this rack? I've got an O for going after OH to make O-Ho, and that will obstruct or take out the bingo lane in column 13 and may enable me to score. So I could play Nu, keeping double EIT, but there are 5 I's unseen, so that's risking a multitude of I's on my rack. I threw back all the I's earlier when I had 4 on my rack, or threw back 3 of them, and they have not been subsequently picked. Fortunately, there are not a lot of great opportunities on this board. So if I can put the O after OH, then hopefully this will be a really blocky board, and I'll be able to use word power to outmaneuver my opponent. Because the tiles that are left are pretty bingo-y. So what's the best play I've got in column 12? Is it Nu? Well, that retains the I. Okay. I don't have anything to go after G double E. Certainly want to place my O here. Well, I'm playing off both O's. There are no O's in the bag. 16 points, which is good. But I could draw 3 eyes and then I would have a real horror show of a rack. Well, maybe I shouldn't play there. Maybe I should revert to my previous plan. Except my previous plan did not involve playing an eye. So I have to end in an O. What about just playing ooh? 10 points. I'm only drawing 2 tiles. Yeah, that's got to be better than no. Well, I have Netia and Tentia. Ah, I have Entirety, column 4. Entirety and Eternity. Great. It is going to provide a lot of floaters. My opponent may bingo right back. So what I'm hoping for is that he doesn't get a big score with this next move. And that he doesn't block my bingo. I'm looking at the L of Loon to see if I've got a bingo onto that. I don't think I have. Great, not blocked. Now, has my opponent provided anything? No, I don't have anything which goes after OX, and nothing goes in front of mix. So Entirety. Yeah, that's better than Eternity in terms of placement of vowels next to premium squares. Entirety doesn't place any. And Eternity places at least 1. Okay, so Entirety, 74 points. Ooh, I don't draw the blank. Now, the remaining tiles, sort of bingo. It really depends on what's in the bag. My opponent could come back with a bingo. If he comes back with a 9-timer in row A, I have lost. But any other bingo... Well, I'm only 43 points in front. Mix was a good play for my opponent, 33 points, so any bingo is going to make my opponent the favourite. But I'll have if he doesn't bingo, I'll have a very clear idea of what's on his rack, since there are only 5 tiles in the bag at the moment. And I think he does need a bingo to win. Onto an E, I would have durative. I can't see any other bingos with this rack. Although it's balanced, it's pretty grim. The U and the V do not go well together. I've got just over 5.5 minutes. My opponent's got 6.5 minutes, so neither of us is in time trouble. I'm wondering what I'm going to do. I'm looking around for opportunities for my V and my U. And I guess if my opponent doesn't take out the floaters or row A, I ought to be considering playing there. So Diver would be playable at A1. 27 points, that's pretty good. Divert would be good, keeping AU. That would score slightly more. Has my opponent got a bingo? No, but he's got a 42-point play. He's only 2 points behind. And the tiles that are left are really bingo-y. And there are some good floaters in Entirety. So what I could do is Vort down here to take out those floaters. That takes out all of them. Then really the only bingo lane is through the M of mix or down column 14 with my opponent using the blank as an O or a Y to put on the end of Ox. But Vort scores 22 points. DIRV with a vowel pickup is not bad. The V is a good scoring tile in the end game. Right, my opponent has got a fabulous rack, ACEIST blank, and he's got a bingo through the M of mix. He must have. No, Keramis doesn't quite play. Matrices doesn't play. Miss Trace doesn't play. I'm only 24 points ahead. Can't see anything in column 14 with the blank as an O or a Y. So to bingo, he has to play through the M of mix. I'm pretty certain he's got something here. But I'm just not seeing it. He's got 4.5 minutes to find it. I'm just mentally running the alphabet through the alphabet for him. I'd like to spot a bingo. I'm up to N and I haven't seen anything. Keramist, I think I ran through all the bingos. Autism. He has autism with the blank as a U. Will he spot it? It's quite an obscure word, and I haven't seen anything else. Oh well, autism is a winning play for my opponent. And Vort takes an E after it, so actually, Tikisma, yep, that is also good. Okay, so pass to end the game. And my opponent wins. And the final score, 383 to me, 453 to my opponent. A winning margin of 70 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Right, so this was the opening rack. Chow looks like it was the best play. And no miss bingos here. I think did I make a mistake playing headers for 44 rather than FEH for about 16? Very difficult to say, but from this point on, I really struggled with my racks. Yeah, 0 for 26 looks fine. Bool, A12, 25 points. Keeping a rack leave of AS, that's pretty good. What did I do? Well, I played Cub for 13. I think a number of those plays were superior. Loon looks best. I think the rack leave of AELS more than justifies the 17-point deficit over the first word in that list. This is where I played My Gales for 85, and I could have had Amale's 89. Not very much in it. This was my awful rack. I changed. I think this is another key moment in the game. Headers was the first key moment. This is the other one. I kept EIN. Maybe I should have kept just EN. But certainly changing is better than any of the suggestions there. Great, I didn't miss a bingo with this set of letters. What did I do? Rain for 16, that looks fine. And no miss bingos here. Again, look at the scores, only one move above 20, so very dismal prospects. Gun for 16 looks fine. Genteel D4. Oh, onto the L of Loon. Well, not sure about that. But again, no moves over 20 points, so very little on offer with this board. Yep, EF, that was my play. Well, I still don't like the rack leave. Ina at 06. Well, that keeps double OT. Scores 19 points. Yeah, very difficult to know. But again, no moves over 20. This was my opponent did well to score 33 points. I again had 1 point odds, but on this occasion it was fine because I had a bingo, entirety and eternity. Did my opponent have anything here? Well, he didn't have a bingo, but jive was a great play for him. I played, well, this is where I played Vort and A5. Oh, Jewett. Yeah, it wouldn't have stopped Takizmi. Would any of these plays have stopped Takizmi? Don't think they would. It was very difficult to block the floater's entirety and the M of mix. So I don't think there's a lot I could do at this point. And finally, well, there they are, all of the playable bingos. There were a number of bingos through the M, but there was also a bingo through the R of entirety in the form of Sterical and Theriax. And also a player associate in column 14. So a wealth of bingo opportunities for my opponent, and well done to him on his victory. I think there were some really key moments in that game. The headerers play, which wrecked the rack leave, when I had the choice of playing FEH and keeping a really bingo-y rack leave, and also the play of, there's definitely one other play which I felt was significantly suboptimal. Oh, well, the changing tiles when I kept EIN, probably a retention of EN would have been better, because I then had a succession of vowel-heavy racks. So certainly food for thought. I hope you found that video enjoyable and helped you with your game. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.